Viewers, it's a profound travesty that the Mahua Moitra story is thus far exciting interest for all the wrong reasons. But then who can blame the public? Who can resist, after all, the thrall of the oh-so-silky entreaties of a Hermes scarf, the unknown possibilities that lurk within the velvety confines of a Gucci bag, or the uppity-clippity-clop of Ferragamo heels? The story has it all. A pugnacious and lively female MP, an embittered ex, not my words but hers, the hint of corporate intrigue, and the sordidness of political vendetta. It is, as a friend joked, pure masala. But while the public is allowed its trivial pursuits, it is necessary that the more public-minded cut through all the smoke screens that we are seeing and go to the heart of the story. Now, viewers, what is the heart of the matter? And this is very important because the alleged cash for queries scandal. Yes, viewers, because the alleged cash for queries scandal hits at the heart of a compact between voters and their representatives. Remember, members of parliament, MPs, serve at the behest of the people. They speak for the people and are voted into office or ejected from it by the people. In this way, a Lok Sabha MP is essentially the custodian of public trust, of our faith. The people trust that their MP will speak up for them, draw Parliament's attention to their problems or needs so that suitable interventions can be made to address them. But what if a parliamentarian begins to violate the terms of the contract? What if the MP were to stop speaking for the public and instead were to speak for a fee for a coterie of friends looking to advance their interests? Wouldn't this breach of faith undermine the most sacrosanct relationship in a democracy between the public and its legislator? Wouldn't it push a parliamentary democracy towards dysfunction? Given the significance of the above questions, it is a matter, viewers, of grave concern that Trinamool Congress Party MP Mahua Moitra stands accused of breaching the people's trust. The charge has been made by a prominent businessman called Darshan Hiranandani. His affidavit is now before the Parliament Committee, and his affidavit is now notarized. Viewers, it might be very difficult for you to read that script that is flying by you. I wish we had made it more steady on the screen, but nonetheless, the next time we will. But let me tell you what he has said. He has said Mahua Moitra was very ambitious and wanted to quickly make a name for herself at the national level. She was advised that the shortest possible route to fame is by personally attacking Shri Narendra Modi. The only problem was that Shri Modi enjoyed an impeccable reputation. This is what he writes, viewers. She thought that the only way to attack Shri Modi is by attacking Gautam Adani and his group, as both were contemporaries and they belonged to the same state of Gujarat. She shared with me her email ID as member of parliament. This is very significant what he is saying. Her email ID as member of parliament. The Lok Sabha login, viewers, so that I could pose questions against Adani directly on her behalf when required. Over a period, my friendship with Ms. Mahua Moitra grew. I also felt that through her, I would get support in other states ruled by the opposition. Importantly, she also made frequent demands of me and kept asking me for various favours, which I had to fulfill in order to remain in close proximity with her and get her support, unquote. Now, viewers, these are very, very serious allegations. You cannot just outsource the business of asking parliamentary questions on behalf of the electorate to anyone, a friend maybe, whoever. You just cannot do that as a parliamentarian. That's a breach of conduct rules. But obviously, Mahua Moitra, viewers, has come out and laughed off Hiranandani's claims, calling them a joke penned by a member of the PMO who wants to silence her for raising awkward questions about businessman Gautam Adani and his alleged proximity to the Prime Minister. Now viewers, she has put out a statement, and let me take you through that statement also. And she goes on to say that Hiranandani has not been summoned yet. The contents of the letter are a joke. She said this in no uncertain terms. It has clearly been drafted by some half-wit, she says, half-wit in the PMO who doubles up as a creative writer in the BJP's IT cell. She hasn't named the person she's referring to, of course, viewers. She says that this particular affidavit sings pains to Modi and Gautam Adani while linking in every opponent of theirs to me and my alleged corruption, unquote. This is what she says, and she goes on to say, I will pay any price to protect my nation. Now viewers, the Lok Sabha rules of procedure are clear. Such cases are to be brought to the attention of either the Parliament's Privilege Committee or the Ethics Committee, and it has happened in the past. The Ethics panel will gather all the evidence and investigate. The Ethics panel also prepares a report and recommends action. The panel report to be given to the Lok Sabha Speaker. The Speaker can direct the report to be tabled in the House. In 2005, there was a precedent. 11 MPs were expelled via parliamentary vote, viewers. After a committee went into the accusations against them, they were caught on sting camera accepting money for questions. So this is a precedent. Now the accusations have sparked a war of words between the BJP and those speaking up for Mahua Moitra. Interestingly, the TMC is not. Watch this.
सारा विषय सामने आना चाहिए क्योंकि संसदीय प्रणाली में घूसखोरी की कोई स्थान नहीं है, तो उसकी जो कानूनी प्रक्रिया होगा, पार्लियामेंट ने पिछले दिनों में भी उसके ऊपर बहुत उदाहरण रखा है। वो सारा विषय पहले एथिक्स कमेटी के सामने पूरा स्पष्ट हो। एथिक्स कमेटी एक योग्य कमेटी है, लोकसभा के अध्यक्ष जी ने उसको काम दिया है, वो करे पहले काम अपना।
महुआ मोइत्रा का गुलाम है, क्यों दे रहा था गिफ्ट, क्यों दे रहा था, क्यों बच्चा है, क्यों लॉगिन पासवर्ड लिया उसने? ये सब विपक्ष के सारे रास्ते बंद हैं। जैसे इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड है, इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड में बीजेपी को ही पैसा मिल रहा है, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट के पास में सोर्स है कि इलेक्टोरल बॉन्ड के थ्रू पैसा देने वाला है कौन। और काला धन को सबसे ज़्यादा जस्टिफाइड अगर किसी ने किया तो इस देश की सरकार ने किया कि पॉलिटिकल पार्टी पैसा जहाँ से भी ले उसका स्रोत नहीं बताया जाएगा। ये लोग भ्रष्टाचार की बात करते हैं।
Completely believe that the Central Bureau of Investigation and the NIA should take up this issue and see how far this woman went on to violate our national security and breach our national security, because all her questions in the parliament were in violation or were absolutely neglecting our national security.
Well, viewers, the entire case stems from an original complaint filed by an advocate who enjoyed a close relationship with Moitra. Viewers, SC lawyer Dehad Rai is the estranged partner of Moitra. Dehad Rai wrote to BJP MP Nishikant Dubey alleging cash for queries scam. Dehad Rai claims Moitra received gifts for posing questions. He has also spelt out all the gifts that she got, the Gucci bags, the Ferragamo heels, many such alleged bribes in his words. Letter to the CBI alleging corruption and money laundering. So he writes a letter to this agency and submitted a copy of the complaint to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. Claims bid by Moitra to coerce him to withdraw a complaint. Again, viewers, just like she rebutted Hiranandani, Moitra has dismissed Dehad Rai as a jilted ex. She says that a jilted ex with an acrimonious history is going after me. He's filed multiple complaints alleging criminal trespass and abuse, filed a defamation suit against Dubey and Dehadrai. Moitra says she's ready to answer CBI and ethics panel. She's also sued a few media houses, viewers, and journalists. While there's very little in the public domain to independently verify the charges against Moitra, there are some hard facts that raise inconvenient questions. And let me now take you through these hard facts as they appear on your screens, viewers. The first and foremost, complainant Dehadrai appears in court. He appeared in court suddenly, viewers, to reveal that Moitra's lawyer offered a deal to withdraw case. Moitra's lawyer has admitted it. He was forced, in fact, to admit after the judge shamed him. Now the questions are, viewers, by meeting the complainant, hasn't Moitra's lawyer committed an impropriety? This, viewers, is not allowed under the code of the bar. Remember this, you cannot suddenly start hobnobbing with a complainant in favor of your defendant. And doesn't approaching the complainant to settle the matter color Moitra's defense? If he is a jilted lover or an ex or whatever he is, why would you be so concerned as to want him to withdraw the matter? Now, viewers, Moitra hasn't specifically denied that Hiranandani got her to give him access to her Lok Sabha login and password. She's put it all down, of course, to some PMO hack who's written all of this, but specifically she hasn't said, look, I didn't give him my password. And that also poses a question. Isn't the absence of a specific denial from Moitra a matter of concern? And why would Moitra allegedly share her LS login and password knowing it as an impropriety? This is something that needs to be gotten to the bottom of, viewers. In 2005, a committee specifically set up to investigate a sting exposing cash for query punished 11 MPs. Now, if there is precedence in Parliament, can Moitra summarily reject the investigation by the Parliament Ethics Committee as a witch hunt? That's another fundamental question. Another hard fact, viewers, the TMC and its leader, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, has not yet defended Moitra. And that poses a question. Because remember, viewers, in two other scandals, the TMC did not. And those individuals were eventually dropped from their posts and are languishing in prison, denied bail. And therefore, the absolute aversion displayed by Mamata Banerjee to rise to Moitra's defense poses this question: is the TMC silent because it knows more about Moitra's involvement than that revealed in public? Very, very important, viewers. And of course, we all know that the affidavit of Darshan Hiranandani has been notarized and is now legally admissible. So let's get to our big debate. Amid the storm of charges, has people's trust been sold? Has people's trust been sold? That's the big question we're asking tonight in just a second.
Hello, Moto.
Viewers, let's open up this conversation to our guests. Let's, as I said, ask some direct questions. We have with us those, remember, who are speaking on behalf of Mahua Moitra because her own party doesn't feel it fit right now to send anyone to defend her. Anirban Banerjee, let me ask you a simple question tonight. Why isn't the TMC coming out there and defending their MP? Why are you, a sympathizer of the TMC, a supporter of the TMC, out here doing that? Given the fact that the TMC dumped its two earlier legislators and ministers, are we to believe that perhaps they believe that Mahua Moitra doesn't have a clean pair of hands?
That's a single line answer. Madam Moitra is more than enough to take on individuals like Mr. Dubey, the BJP legislator, and the other people who are supporting him, and the other people from the BJP, including Mr. Amit Shah or Mr. Modi, because the questions regarding the relation, the link between Mr. Modi and Adani till date has been left unanswered in the parliament. That is the most important point of this entire fiasco. You are asking Madam Moitra many questions, please do, no problems. But I can actually apply the same logic that has the BJP come out or the president or the Prime Minister come out in the open and refuted the claims of his links with Mr. Adani. That has never been done. And all the questions asked by Madam Moitra in the parliament till date, have they been answered with facts, with specific information? No, they haven't. Therefore, Madam Moitra, she is being targeted by the BJP. That is so very clear. I don't think the TMC, the
okay, a follow-up question to you, sir.
Even needs to come out in the open. Yeah.
Okay, she doesn't need to come out in the open. She's enough to deal with it, and therefore the party also doesn't need to stand by one of their most visible faces. Strange, but nonetheless, viewers, let me come back to Mr. Banerjee. The complainant, Mr. Dehedrai, appeared in court today, and he says an overture was made to him to withdraw the matter, and the overture was not made by some friend. It was made by Mahua Moitra's lawyer. The judge was so shocked, if you've read the copy that has come out of the court today, that he looked bewildered at Mahua Moitra's counsel and said, "What are you doing, sir? You are crossing the aisle. You know that this is an impropriety." The live law has the entire copy. We can go over it word by word. And then that lawyer decides to recuse himself, saying, "Oh, you see, I had known him in the past. He had given me some briefs, so therefore I did this." Now, you know, Mr. Banerjee, that this is not acceptable conduct.
Yeah, sure. That is up to Madam Moitra's lawyer to explain as to why he did that, even if he did that. But that does not mean.
So the
that
party
Madam
doesn't come
Moitra
out in defense.
actually,
The supporter says, "Ask the lawyer, don't ask me." That's a bit strange. One second, Dr. Raman. I'm just getting through with Mr. Banerjee. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you said the lawyer walked up to the other counsel, that is the counsel of
No, he didn't
Mr.
walk up to him. He made a call
and
to him
he
the
might
night
have said
before.
something to him. Yeah.
Can I clarify that, Rahul?
Yeah, he made a call to him the night before. That is why he made the call, why he did that. Even if he did that, that is up to him to explain. But that does not take away from the fact that this defamation case was filed by Madam Moitra.
So,
the parties who are party to this particular matter, they have to answer before the court of law.
Of course, I agree with you. Everyone has to answer. But this is very interesting. Mr. Dehedrai came up before the judge today. The matter was adjourned, viewers, by the way. He came out and he said clearly to the judge that there is a move to get me to withdraw, to intimidate me. Why would they do that? If you have a clean pair of heels, you would say, forget it, you can say whatever you want to. We'll challenge you in court and we'll win it. I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan here for a moment. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this? It's a very strange case, but it's a very serious one. It cuts to the heart of our democracy and its well-being.
Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to my fellow panelists, and congratulations are in order to one of my fellow panelists, Abhijit, who broke this news through smokes and whispers almost a couple of months ago. I don't know what kind of friends does he entertain that he gets this news 2 months before it actually happens. But clearly, Rahul, a diamond or Hira is no longer a woman's best friend. And I say this without having a dog in the fight, but clearly there are a couple of people who do. Now, there are three issues here. This is absolutely, at least for me, this is not about a woman, an Indian woman who's bright and sharp, who went to a small town in America and got a degree and then was one of the hundreds of vice presidents of a multinational bank, and who came back and joined the Congress party on the behest of Rahul Gandhi and then joined the TMC. God knows how many of TMC members are ex-Congress. This is not about that at all. That's her personal life. This is not about even the dog. I just want to concentrate on two things here. Number one, it's a simple question to Anirban Da and also to other panelists who would like to take it. If you remember, Rahul, a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, people vociferously, especially from the Congress and the opposition and the left, wanted Smriti Irani's resignation. Why? Because there was an excise case that later on turned out to be false against her daughter, who was running a restaurant allegedly in Goa. They said resign. Just imagine if a BJP MP had been accused by a billionaire of sleaze, corruption, threats, blackmail, compromising national security, compromising privacy, extortion. What do you think would have happened? Leave alone the demand for resignation of the BJP MP. They would have demanded, sat outside the 7 racecourse roads and demanded the resignation of the Prime Minister. So that's number one. Amir Banda, I didn't interrupt
The answer is
you.
nothing would have happened.
Please,
You know
please,
that.
Dada, I didn't interrupt you.
No, I'm not interrupting. I'm just answering your straight question.
Dada, this is unfair.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, please,
No, no,
please,
please
thank
go
you.
ahead, please go ahead.
So that's point number one. Why this shameless hypocrisy when something as serious as, and I'm coming to that in a minute, just 2 points remaining. Number one, Rahul, this is not about the Louis Vuitton bags or the wonderful, wondrous, colorful description you gave about the clickety clock of the shoes and everything. It's not about that at all. It is at the bottom of it about giving your login and password and cash for questions, not only just for 1 or 2 of them. If you look at the affidavit, around more than 3 dozen questions have been answered in lieu of cash and kind. And I completely object to this patronizing attitude not only of Ms. Moitra, but also of the others, her clique of journalists. You know, what kind of friend she is saying, oh, my friend Hiranandani is under pressure. That is why PMO has instructed him to write this letter. Is that not patronizing? What kind of a friend he would be in the first place? And number 2, as far as professionalism goes, what kind of a lawyer has she hired who actually talks to the opposite side a day before there is going to be the all-important meeting in the court and says, we will withdraw the CBI case if you give us the dog? I mean, what this is utter nonsense. It has to be investigated, not for any other reason, except for the fact that here is a clear case of compromising national security, period.
Well, viewers, look, I've told you, these are all allegations, and Dr. Ranganathan has also added those caveats, but they are very serious in nature, viewers. Very, very serious in nature. I mean, as I said, this cuts at the heart of a democracy. MPs are sent to Parliament to express, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, express our aspirations, our questions, so that we can have resolution via either a law or some sort of initiatives. Now, if these are true, this would be perhaps one of the biggest scandals that has hit Parliament in a while now. Perhaps as far back as 2009, there was a scandal of this magnitude.
Absolutely, Rahul. You see, there are 4 issues out here, and there seems to be an attempt at, trying to conflate different issues. The first is a custody battle. It's not a jilted lover battle. It's a custody battle over a dog. Okay. Now, a custody battle is a civil matter. It is not up for public discussion. It is to be dealt in court because it is the private lives of the 2 dog parents in quest. Right. Number 1. Number 2, there is the Adani case, which is under investigation right now. There are several panels looking into it. And, you know, when the Adani case blew up, nobody was saying, oh, why don't you look into this? Oh, why don't you look into that? It was a straight up discussion on what Mr. Adani had done right or wrong. This is a third case, which is also related to all of this. And it is a case of public interest, which is a cash for questions scandal. Now, the problem of the cash for questions scandal is twofold. One, is it a violation of the Representation of People Act? Because you see, you are elected by the people. You are meant to ask questions that the people of Krishnanagar want asked out there. She hasn't asked questions about the people of Krishnanagar, which is one of the most depressed constituencies in West Bengal. Instead, she is asking it for Mr. Darshan Hiranandani, which is one of the most privileged constituents of Mumbai and Dubai. Okay. Second is the national security angle, because she has given her password to a man who is apparently not an Indian citizen. There are reports he's either a Cypriot citizen or a British citizen. And to give your password to the password of a sovereign institution like the Parliament is essentially to hand over the powers and privileges affixed on you by the Representation of People Act on a foreign national. It is treason. It is very scary. You see, the foreign national and the electronic communications thereof, sharing the email login and the password, could have also been intercepted. and it would have compromised the entire system and made the entire parliamentary portal subject to foreign hacking attacks. You see, this is a very, very serious issue. There is significant national security angles out here which we're not talking about at the moment. All of these need to be probed. And what are they saying? Don't talk about national security. Don't talk about compromising the Representation of People Act. Don't talk about the Prevention of Corruption Act. Instead, talk about the personal angle out here, which is a civil case, which is the custody of a dog child between two dog parents.
Well, that's exactly why I began by saying that this is not about some Gucci bags and all sorts of other accoutrements which make people look richer and glamorous and therefore a lot more attractive, etc., etc. It's not about all of that, viewers. This is not about the fripperies. This is about the issues that have been detailed today by Abhijit Iyer Mitra and Dr. Raman. We have a problem. We have a big problem because Mahua Moitra has today put out a statement that doesn't specifically rebut the claim that Hiranandani has made that he was given the Lok Sabha login and password, which opens a portal into, as you know, the entire parliamentary process, and as Abhijit Iyer Mitra was saying, could have led to a massive security breach.
Rahul, before I go into that, answering that particular question, and I have actually spoken to people in the know who say that a parliamentarian's access to the parliament portal is usually available with several people in their office who work as their interns, who work as their secretaries, and so on. So this whole argument that national security is being compromised, first of all, we'll have to first do a complete list of all the parliamentarians and find out whose password, whose access has happened from which IP address and so on, which is what Mahua Moitra has also said. Now, the point, that is point number one. I'm not getting into that detail. That calls for a forensic investigation. The main point is, Mahua Moitra is saying, please investigate me. She's not saying, oh, you should not investigate me. She says, please, for all, you're most welcome to investigate. So this whole argument of saying that she's running away from she has filed a defamation case. That's a separate issue. That is her right. She is saying, please investigate me. But please also investigate those against whom I have made charges. So I don't see how that is unfair.
Okay.
She is not saying that, I should not be investigated. I am above the law. She has not said that. So I keep coming back to this. And the
so what's
note
the point?
Yesterday, for instance, Mr. Hiranandani's note, there is not a single date. There is not a single specific record of payments made. In fact, quote unquote expensive gifts. When were they given? He says he paid for her holidays. Which holidays? What did he sponsor? Did he buy air tickets? Which date were
he's been summoned by the committee? So he'll probably give all these details. Rahul, he's been summoned. But one second, I want to ask you a counter question. Very important point you made. You said
she hasn't denied.
Okay, but one second, doctor. You made a very, very important point. Very important intervention, viewers. Now, please pay attention to what he said. He says, you see, she said that she's open for investigation. What's the big deal? So did Mr. Adani say that, viewers. He says, come investigate me, look at my books. In fact, a panel was set up to look into his books. He went and cooperated, but they still crucify him. They still say that he is corrupt. That benefit of the doubt is not given to the very, very open.
But what are we doing on this channel?
Mr. Adani.
We are doing exactly the same thing.
Now the point is, sir, you have contradicted yourself. That's what I'm trying to say, Dr. Raman. You say that just because she is saying bring it on means she's perhaps got nothing to hide, but when Adani says that, he's bluffing. So have some consistency. I think Dr. Ranganathan pointed out that there is no consistency. Yeah, one sec. Yeah.
Rahul, there's a quick point.
Yeah. Not the one making
Let him finish.
Allegations against Mr. Adani. Please.
Okay.
Most of what she says are stuff which has been put out by somebody else, whether it is Hindenburg or whether it is Financial Times or somebody else.
Right.
It's not that Mahua Moitra has produced some new dramatic evidence against Mr. Adani.
Okay, but you saying that, the logins are shared, they're shared with employees who are trusted.
Absolutely.
They are not given to X businessmen and Y businessmen who might and not and,
you are
and,
allowed to give it. You are allowed to give it to 2 parliamentary aides. That
Yes.
is it. And the 2 parliamentary aides it is shared with have to be registered in the parliamentary system as being privy to your login.
So there you go. So
therefore-
those people are
therefore, it's very
liable if
simple
they were
find
to.
out how many MPs
Excuse
have
me.
shared passwords.
It doesn't
with
matter,
whom.
sir.
Very
They are not
simple.
giving it to any Joe Blow businessman.
It's
And that
not
also
Joe
for
Blow. I
alleged
said
for
they
alleged
share it with
exchanges
their
of money.
aides or with their secretaries.
What
That
is
is what
Mr.
I said,
Hiranandani
Rahul.
got to do with anyhow? Look, this is mystifying. Viewers
From
are
the
very
IP address,
mystifying.
you'll be able to
I'll
find
tell
out
you.
if it's true or
I'll
false.
tell you, sir. My login for my Twitter account is not. I don't even know it. It's with a colleague, and that is in trust, because that person
Rahul.
is deputed to do a particular function.
Exactly.
So if there is a problem, that person will be hauled up. There is a liability. Here there is no liability. You give it to anybody, and how do we know it's not been circulated amongst hundreds of businesmen? Who knows?
But how do
Yes,
we-
Dr.
it's
Ranganathan
very
wants to
easy
come in.
Find out.
Yeah,
Get
Mr.
the
Bajoria, I'm
IP
coming to
addresses
you.
which
Yes.
access
Yes,
that- which accessed it. It's 5 minutes to find out.
on a lighter
for a good
note,
IT specialist.
Rahul.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dr. Ranganathan.
Yes, on a lighter note, at once I can say Dr. Sumant Raman has turned out to be a much better lawyer for Ms. Mahua Moitra than her original lawyer. So maybe she needs to do some thinking on that part. Number 2, leave aside the whataboutery of what Dr. Sumant Raman is saying. Is it not untenable in law when somebody is accused of something and that person says, well, why don't you also investigate the other person who's accused of that? Why are you accusing me of murder? First go and find out that person who murdered. I am sorry, this is not untenable. Abhijit, stop laughing. I am sorry, this is not tenable in law. And thirdly, has Ms. Mahua Moitra ever asked or denied that the allegations made, even though they may be without date or time, made by her friend Darshan Hiranandani, were not true? She's not denied them. So where is this question of what date did Hiran? She is just being so awfully patronizing and saying that that letter has been written under pressure. And finally, this is very important. Whenever the allegations were made against Modi or anybody else, it wasn't somebody who was in direct cahoots with Modi. And this allegation has not been made by Modi or Amit Shah. So Dr. Sumant, please get your facts right. It has been made by the ex, in the words of Ms. Mahua Moitra, and the person who has indulged in quid pro quo. The two most important people who are involved in this quote-unquote scam or cash work questions are the people who are in the courtroom with her.
And
where does BJP come into it?
And very importantly,
And
viewers.
can I add just
They have
one
a
thing
reason,
very
at
importantly.
least, Mr.
Very
Okay, let's not
importantly.
speak over each other.
Can I come in?
I just want to point out that
she
she has not denied a single one of the allegations. She has basically deflected from all of it, saying it has been tweeted by some quote-unquote dimwit in the BJP
Yes,
IT cell.
yes, that's
At
what
no
she said.
point does she say she did not accept the Ferragamo, the Hermes, the Louis Vuitton, or anything
Mr.
like
Bajoria.
that. Number one.
Yeah.
And number two, very importantly, she is the problem right now is nobody in the TMC parliamentary party, nobody in the TMC command structure, none of her parliamentary colleagues, people who are our friends, have come out, and the lawyer in her case that she wanted to file the gag order for has withdrawn from the case. So what was meant to be heard today has been postponed to October the 31st.
These are the inconvenient hard facts, and therefore I focused on them and put them out on the screens for you. Mr. Bajoria comes in. Mr. Bajoria, both Dr. Sumant C. Raman and Anirban Banerjee say that this is a witch hunt. You've cooked up a story. You've got individuals who are close to Mahua Moitra and some dimwit, in her words, in the PMO to draw up this huge, fanciful conspiracy. And you are implicating her because she's the only gutsy parliamentarian who asks questions of the government. One second.
Neither me nor
One second. I'm talking about Mahua Moitra. That's what she said. Mahua Moitra has said. I'm saying Mahua Moitra has said that dimwit, some dimwit in PMO.
At least have some courtesy, sir.
Mr. Bajoria, could you please respond to this charge that you are fixing an independent voice in Parliament, a female voice in Parliament, you're not letting her speak, you are intimidating her through these cases. I'll come back to you, Dr. Ranganathan, but Mr. Bajoria first, you.
Rahul, very clear. what has been said, and even today, what Anirban ji and Raman ji are saying, that trying to defend the defenseless, they are going on a whataboutery. In fact, from TMC, nobody. Anirban is not a TMC member, as he comes as a supporter. Very good. Except that you're a member, you're a spokesperson, then you will be defending her. But even he says she does not need party to defend. I will tell you, today I did a TV program on another channel, and that person was sitting as a TMC spokesperson. And you know what he said? He said that Prime Minister Modi got the women's reservation, and here you are harassing a woman. That's all the defense for Mahua Moitra. Now coming to specific points, let's go through the press release that she has made, because people sometimes don't still believe in tweets that can be anything. Now, in the press release, the first point she makes that this is on a plain paper, not on a letterhead. And hence, this affidavit has no legs to stand on. Whoever has advised the Honorable MP, affidavits are not sewn on letterheads. We have lawyers here, it's on plain paper, and that is then sewn in front of the commissioner in the court. Coming to the other point, who has said this ex and present and future? It was a tweet of the MP herself. Otherwise, why are we interested? How did we know who's her ex and who's the present? It's a private life. Why are we involved in a private life? I have only one point to make for everybody, for the viewers to see. The Ethics Committee of Parliament has been handed over this case. You have said it, Rahulji, that in 2005, 11 MPs lost their membership because the Ethics Committee found them guilty, and the whole House voted against them and voted for their expulsion. Now, what I'm saying is, it's for the Ethics Committee to find out. If she thinks that she has all the defense, by all means, defend yourself in front of the ethics. She is not defending herself. She is still wanting to go on the basis that my offense will be my defense. And the last, still I will say, not a word from TMC. And what does she write in her press statement? Draft sent by PMO and forced to sign. That means this so-called ex has informed her. How does she know who sent the draft, and that a gun was placed on his head or a gun carriage he was brought under? How does she know? This thing.
Okay, but Mr. Bajoria makes the point that, look, the Ethics Committee is looking into it. I'll tell you, viewers, back in time, 2005, a majority of those who took money and were caught on camera were BJP MPs. And at that time, though the BJP protested, they had to go along with that decision. And the individuals were shown the door. There were some congressmen also. They were also from other regional parties. But that matter went before a committee. It was set up by Mr. Bansal at that time. Matter was looked into. Charges were upheld. The individuals, by vote, were then turned out of the House.
Just for record, Rahul, a very quick one, half a sentence. It was Sri Shobha Chatterjee in the chair as the speaker.
Yes.
Supreme Court had sent him a notice.
That's true.
After consulting lawyers, he, with all humility, returned the notice back to the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court has no jurisdiction over Parliament.
That's true.
And Supreme Court accepted that stance.
Accepted, and he then went out and constituted a committee. Exactly as it's happening now, viewers. Yes, Anirban Banerjee and Dr. Ranganathan. Anirban Banerjee first, yes, since you raised your hand. Go for it. Yeah.
I have a single point to say that since
Please.
the Ethics Committee is handling the matter, so therefore is the point that we cannot discuss over this, we cannot put out our opinions. Let the Ethics Committee do its job, let the Court of Law do its job. We have no problems with them, the authorities, proper authorities doing their jobs. The questions that comes to our mind, opinions that we have, we are going to express that. If that is in defense of Madam Moitra, what's the problem?
Exactly,
the
no
BJP
problem.
has to answer their links with... Yeah, the BJP has to answer the links of Prime Minister Modi with businessman Adani. That is their job to answer, which they have never done. Questions will be raised by Madam Moitra, the questions will be raised by us. The people will raise the questions. There is no problem in raising questions. Please question Madam Moitra, no issues. But since, sir,
let Mr. Bajoria, let the TMC supporters speak.
No, I know that. Shishir Babu, the question that comes to our mind after reading the statement of Mr. Hiranandani, that he was not summoned by the ethics committee, he is not part of the defamation case, no other authority has summoned him, so why come out with a statement without I don't know, head or tail? Yesterday suddenly we found out the news agency, they have got this statement. Why did he suddenly come out with this statement that basically reeks of the smell of the BJP counter statement to the allegations of Modi and Adani links? Is this a statement of a businessman? Should a businessman be so concerned about the image and the authority and the respect of Prime Minister Modi?
Dr.
The way the statement has been presented,
take those
there is
questions.
A fishy smell
Inconsistencies,
to it.
the statement itself seems to have been tutored, etc. Yes.
Yes, couple of responses to Anirbanda. Number one, at the drop of a hat, why does he and his party that he supports demands resignation of every BJP MP or MLA whenever some allegations are thrown at them? Number one. By that same standard, shouldn't TMC ask Mahua Moitra to resign till such time the allegations are proven either way? Number one. Number two, let me quote, because I have been consistently saying this, Rahul, and you have too, that this is not about shoes and bags. This is about this quote. Let me quote this directly. I have learned from news reports that this parliamentary question was likely asked by a MP at the behest of a data center company. It is true that this company was actively and aggressively lobbying for data localization. Language used in the parliamentary question is very similar to that used when the head of this company met me. This is a quote from the sitting minister of this government. Do you think this is not worth investigating, Anirbanda? I ask you this in all honesty.
One question, one more point, Rahul.
No, of course, investigate everything, investigate everybody. Please investigate the links between Prime Minister Modi and Adani as well. That is all we have been demanding over all these years. The coal scam by Mr. Adani, the Hindenburg report, the Financial Times report. Where are the investigations by the ED?
Anirban Babu, this Prime Minister Adani link, you all have played it over and over again. Why वो record अटक गया है आपका? Abhi today the subject is
investigate. Ask the ED to investigate. That's all. No, ask the ED to investigate.
Okay, gentlemen, let's just maintain a bit of decorum here. Let me just come in. Let silence be prevail. Look, hang on, viewers. Look, the matter is now before a committee. All these individuals will have to depose before that committee, and they will have to furnish whatever proof they have to substantiate their claims. Now, remember, Hiranandani has given this document to the ethics committee, to the speaker, and it's on oath. So if he's wrong, he goes to jail. Perjury, it's a charge. So he's risking everything in the game. He doesn't need to be in this game. And let me tell you, viewers, there are these inconvenient hard facts. I think most people have referred to them. I just want to quickly jog your memory over some of them. Complainant Dehedrai appears in court to reveal that Moitra's lawyer offered a deal to withdraw case. He says he's being intimidated. So what he says. And Moitra's lawyer admits this and then recuses himself from the case after the judge ticks him off. So viewers, why would that be happening? Big question. Moitra hasn't specifically gone into the details to deny that Hiranandani got her to give him access to her Lok Sabha login and password. And that's very easily established, viewers. He'll come out with the password. They will go into the CDRs, etc. to geolocate the signals. If Madam Moitra was in X location and her account was being, well, gone into at a Y location, very easy to locate these inconsistencies. In 2005, a committee specifically set up to investigate a sting exposing cash for query punished 11 MPs. If there's precedence, let that precedence prevail. And TMC and its leader, Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, has not yet defended Moitra. At one time, viewers, she used to staunchly defend Madam Moitra, even bringing her onto a stage and saying, look, I stand by my sister. Now, viewers, silence. The question obviously arises. Is the TMC silent because it knows more about Moitra's involvement than what's out in the public domain? Question mark.